Hey everyone, happy Friday. I am in the middle of a big driving day today. So I pulled over because I definitely did not want to miss out on the food for thought that I always share with you all. Um, and today's food for thought has been inspired by a podcast episode that I listened to a few weeks ago that kind of stuck with me, and I've been kind of mulling it over since then. And it's this idea of being a thermostat or the purpose of a thermometer. So the purpose of a thermostat is that it is constantly monitoring the environment, and when the temperature gets just too low or just too high, then it kicks into action to adjust and whatnot. Whereas a thermometer, all it does is show the temperature of the environment. So there's no action, it's just information being shared. And so it's something the thermometer reacts to the environment, so to speak. So the temperature raises, the mercury rises. The temperature drops, the mercury drops. So it's a reactive thing, whereas the thermostat is more of a proactive thing. And so this has got me thinking, like, wow, living life as a thermostat or living life as a thermometer? Am I waiting to respond to things, waiting for things to happen around me, um, and for those external factors to fall into place for me to uh, acknowledge, for me to live into those moments? Or am I being proactive and I'm being aware of what's going on around me, so that I can take action accordingly to create the life that I want? I just thought this was such a powerful metaphor to kind of play around with, of how this idea of being a thermostat versus being a thermometer shows up in your life. So, for example, one thing that I have worked through in my transition from a professional career in education into my world of being an entrepreneur and starting a coaching practice, is that in my life as an educator working within the school system, whether it's higher ed or at the secondary level, I was much more of a thermometer. I was much more in response mode. Things would happen on campus, things would happen with a student, and I would constantly be responding to students' needs, which was fun and exciting. I developed a high level of crisis response. And so I pretty much, it takes a lot to ruffle my feathers. I stay pretty calm no matter what's going on around me, which is definitely a skill to have. But as I've transitioned out of that world and into a world where I am starting my own practice and fully responsible for creating this life for myself, I have to be a thermostat. I don't really have much of a choice. If I am if I maintain my status as a thermometer in starting my own practice, I will never have a thriving practice. It will never succeed, because I will be waiting for clients to come to me. I will be waiting for partnerships to come to me. I will be waiting for all these external things to fall into place. And I will just be monitoring everything that goes on around me rather than taking an active role in creating it. Whereas transitioning into this life, so to speak, as a thermostat, I'm monitoring the environment. I'm in tune with what's going on around me. I'm in tune with what are students facing right now. How does that impact the coaching that I offer? How does that impact what it is that they would need from me? How does that impact how I market myself? How does that impact who I market myself to? All of these things contribute to how I show up each day within my business, how I am proactive in creating programs, in writing my book, in seeking out new partnerships that meet the needs that are exposing themselves during this very challenging time. So that's my question for you. Sometimes you might find yourself as a thermometer in some areas of your life, and sometimes you're a thermostat in other areas of your life. You're not one or other across the board. And also want to be clear that neither one of these is good or bad. It's just what's useful to you given the context of what's going on for you right now. So my question for you is this: where in your life are you showing up in the capacity as a thermostat? And where in your life are you showing up in the capacity as a thermometer? Then I want to take this a step further, and I want you to ask yourself, is that the role that is serving me best in that context? Right? And that goes back to neither one is right or wrong. It's just what is most useful, what is going to serve you the best. And if you find that you're in the role as a thermometer in a particular area of your life, but the thermostat mode would really serve you well, what's that next step to making that shift? What's the very first thing that you can do to make that shift? And vice versa. Let's say you're exhibiting the tendencies of a thermostat in another area of your life, but being a thermometer would be better. Maybe in your role as a parent with your children. Maybe you're trying to manage and be proactive and be really, really involved in what's going on for them. And maybe they're entering a phase of their life where they just need you to be aware of what's going on, and they'll let you know when they need something from you. Or it could go the other way around. So the question is, how are you showing up in different areas of your life as a thermostat or a thermometer? And which one is going to be most useful in all of those situations? I hope that's gotten your wheels turning. You all have an amazing weekend.